Hey guys, my name is Master Fighter, and today I'm finally doing a review on a game that I've been wanting to do a review on for a while now. This is going to be a Proton review, but I'm also reviewing a game itself. It's not necessarily just, how it runs on Proton. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of mad at myself because this is the third time I've recorded this video in a row. I've recently learned that this game is a lot louder than other games. Never realized until I watched my previous gameplay video when I tested out my virtual machine, and I realized you could not hear what I was saying at all during the Darktide segment, and I re-recorded this video a second time a while back, realizing that you could not hear what I was saying. So this is the third time I'm doing this. Um, so I want to show how this game runs on both NVIDIA and AMD graphics. So I'm going to start this game with my 1080 Ti first. Now I'm going to go ahead and just say that NVIDIA graphics, this is not even a Linux issue. This game actually runs better on Proton than it does on Linux. The only issue that I say that is a Linux problem is the launcher here. So on Windows, apparently, and I didn't even know this until I loaded up my virtual machine, but this launcher is supposed to fade from this into the launcher like an animated launcher that you see on there, but it still functions. It's just if you have a ray tracing card, you'll have to go in the settings to change the ray tracing settings, because this game does do ray tracing on NVIDIA by default. My only desktop ray tracing card that I've got is my RX 6900 XT, and I don't use the proprietary drivers, so I'm not worried about ray tracing. I can barely tell the difference anyways.
It is the
But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that AMD does have graphical issues. It's not Linux specific, and I actually thought it was at first when I first saw it, but it's not though. It's also on Windows, because apparently AMD on Windows was also having issues, so it's a hardware related feature. I say a feature, it's not a feature, it's a bug. Usually it's the other way around. So if you're on NVIDIA, you're going to get the premier graphical experience. But I will say that's unusual, by the way. I will say with NVIDIA, what works on AMD actually looks better. AMD's graphics show up better than they do on NVIDIA, especially with the lighting and all that. And no, it's not ray tracing. I'm using the Mesa drivers. If we can get load up in the game here, I will show y'all. So as you can see, everything is totally normal. There's nothing that's going to stick out to you except for this right here. This is the only issue, and this is not even a NVIDIA issue. This is just TAA at its finest. So if you're on NVIDIA, I would suggest using FXAA, even if you're not using a high-resolution monitor, like something above 1080p, because FXAA causes weird shakiness, especially you see in the windows, and you also see like the afro effect and all that. That's TAA. You can't get rid of that. That's just how TAA works. So if you play in NVIDIA, then turn off TAA for this game. Though they do need to fix it. It's not as good as TAA typically is, because usually you don't see anything like that. As you can see, everything here looks pretty nice. I'm not going to play a game with it because you've seen my other video already, most likely. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up with AMD, and I'll see you in just a moment. Alright guys, so I'm back with the AMD card, which that's going to be the main card that I'm going to be playing games with on this channel. I mostly have the 1080 Ti for the VM and for work. In fact, this was going to be rendering this video later. But I'm going to go ahead and just say this now. Batshark has done an amazing job with Proton support for this game, because Proton support is nearly flawless. Now, I know that in that 1080 Ti segment, you did see that one problem that I had with the server connecting. That was the first time that I've ever had that issue the entire time I've played this game, and I've played this game since the beta. And that's another thing to point out, is I played this game during the beta with no issues with anti-cheat. And I was actually worried that when this game came out, that there would be issues with the anti-cheat. You know, they'd set the anti-cheat in effect or something like that. But surprisingly, I've had no issues. I've had less issues than my buddies who play on Windows this same game, who are always having server issues. And here I am on Proton, which is considered, you know, oftentimes to be the hackier way to play games. And, you know, we're getting the premiere experience in it. It's honestly kind of nice, but it's a little unsettling too, because we're still a minority among gamers. But it does help out us in the long run, because it does kind of show us more of an option too. But here's the problems with AMD. I'm sitting here talking. Here's the problems with AMD graphics right now, and which means if you play on the Steam Deck, you have these issues because you play on AMD. So you see these cloth-like textures here. They're black, and the reason why that's like that is because ambient occlusion on AMD is totally broken. And it's still broken a little bit even without ambient occlusion. But if you wanted to fix that, then you have an option, and that is to turn off TAA. And this is why I say that if you're playing AMD, you are playing with TAA. Because there's luckily, you see that Ogren right there? Look at his skin. Yep. You are forced to play TAA in this game, or you get to see that. And it does improve the cloth textures just a little bit with FXAA on, but not by much, though. Not by much. Not by enough to where I say it's worth it. And usually it's only like one-sided. So if you play this with AMD, just grit your teeth with it and do TAA. And honestly, AMD's ambient occlusion in this game looks so awesome that I put up with those black cloths, because just look at how much better the colors on here look with AMD over NVIDIA. So I can put up with the cloth, because you only see that really in the Morningstar and like maybe in the Wild a little bit. But anyways, enough talking about the game while I'm just sitting here running around the Morningstar. Let's play a game. So in this game, you've got 4 classes to choose from. You've got the Veteran Sharpshooter, which is a more ranged oriented playstyle, but can do a lot of melee as well. He's more for, you know, single target damage, and versus the Psyker, who's also more ranged, but he can do more wide array damage, though he's still good in single damage combat too. Then you've got the Zealot, which is what I'm playing as. He's more for surgical strikes, so to speak. You know, like smaller, you know, like single targets, but can still handle a crowd. And then you have like the Ogren, who's the tank, and they're more for piling the meat up for everybody else to kind of go after. You know, do a bunch of damage at one time. I will say most people who play Ogren don't play Ogren well, though.
Dregs are all over neighbouring districts, so expect some company while you're down.
But I leveled up my Sharpshooter first to level 30. I've almost got all the penances in it, and I'm going to be honest with you, even after getting my Ogren to level 20, the Zealot, I got bored of that, and the Zealot actually became my favorite class in this game. See, just I will say the art direction in this game is outstanding, as you can see here. One thing, if you know about me, and not a lot of people know this, but I'm very big into the concept of megastructures, and seeing things like a high city in first person is awe-inspiring, in my opinion. Like, there's other games on the channel that I would like to play that have like, it gives you sort of, if you read manga, there's a manga that I'm a big fan of called Blam, spelled blame with capital exclamation. You spell blame in all caps with an exclamation mark, but that's it's pronounced Blam, and it's about like in the far future. It's not too much dissimilar to 40K. Actually, where everybody's, you know, kind of regress to like a primal state, but technology still plays like a big part in people's lives, and there's even like subsets of you know, different kinds of humans and stuff like that, like the electrofishers and stuff like that. This Hive Tertian gives me like a Netsphere megastructure vibes. And if you've never heard of Blam, then you should totally give that a read. There's an anime movie, but I'll be honest, it does not give the manga justice.
It's this way, I'm sure of it! Class bless ye, heathens!
These guys are very hard to kill. Yeah, there was zero chance I was gonna dodge that guy. Another thing that's great about this game is they took what they knew from Vermintide 1 and 2 and they improved on the core gameplay, because they've incorporated a lot more range into it. See, if you're a big fan of Vermintide 1 and 2, then you'd know that Vermintide 1 and 2 is mostly a multiplayer style game. And don't get me wrong, I love the or not multiplayer, but a melee style game. And don't get me wrong, I love the melee. But in fact, you can even be playing Zella, which is like mostly like traditional Vermintide style. But that's because the melee is so satisfying in this game. And in fact, once you do like, see, I'm on level 3 right now. Once you play like level 4 missions and above, then which is like Heresy and Damnation, range is more important than melee. Like, melee is only going to be towards like this, and you're going to be shooting pretty much every enemy with a gun that you see, because they're going to be able to take you out like nobody's business. And a lot of people criticize the game for that, but I think it's actually genius. I mean, you know, you got to keep in mind that in Vermintide, you're like well-established heroes. Not well-established, but, you know, they're not like just some pushovers, but in Darktide, you are literally playing as rejects, like guys who are not even fit to be part of the Imperial Guard, trying to become Inquisitors of all things. What is that guy doing down there?
And yet still, the citizens tolerate sin. Veteran has a home problem.
Now, this game I do have some criticisms about. Fat Shark recently made an apology on this, which, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it's cool because I do love playing this game a lot, but just because I like this game does not mean I cannot give it criticisms, though. And don't ever let your love for a game not let you see what is bad in the game. one of the problems this game has got is that this game does not have a crafting system. So the reason why like I still play my veteran character from time to time is because like I'll log in, not even play it, like just so I can see if there's weapons better than my weapons in the store. Because the truth is there is currently no crafting system. Oh, that's a scripture right there. I don't know what I'm doing trying to shoot this guy.
Scanning protocol engaged. That server stopped.
And the reason I'm giving criticism on that is not so much that they didn't have it day one, even though that's also not a good thing. It's because they said that we would have it by Christmas, and here we are in January. We have not even heard back from them until a couple of days ago. It's been radio silent for almost 2 months. There's people for some reason think it's only been like about a month. It's been 2 months since we've last heard from them. We were supposed to get crafting a month ago. Another criticism I have of the game, and I will go ahead and just say this, they have fixed it some, is those issues with AMD. Now, I will say that the graphics used to be worse for AMD, and they have done some fixes for it. Like Hourglass or any area of the game that had like orange lighting was unplayable if your lighting was like above low. So you have to play with like basically zero shadows. That guy just fell to the depths of hell. He fell in the cromdo. That guy did too. Now my third criticism with this game is the Sharpshooter is too powerful. It's very easy to play as the Sharpshooter because the Sharpshooter recently got a buff that gave him 200 toughness, which was the buff that he needed because he was too weak. But now he's way stronger than the other classes because of it. I think a better impasse rather than buffing up the other classes though would just be make his toughness like 150. My fourth criticism with this game are its level of unoptimization. Now, there's no reason that with my 6900 XT at 1080p with no ray tracing, because keep in mind that is a $1,000 graphics card. There is no reason that I should not be able to get in a regular game about 100 FPS when I could play Halo Infinite at max settings and achieve higher than that. Like Halo Infinite at max settings with my 6900 is almost 200 frames, and I do get this game has better graphics. That guy was a freaking god. Except he couldn't dodge that trapper though. There's no reason that I shouldn't be getting frames like that. That's the reason why I'm running this at 60 FPS instead of 120. Because turning down your settings is not going to get you that much more FPS. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm like sitting, I'm just running around, not even paying attention to anything. I genuinely believe that the best melee weapon you can get is the Eviscerator. I don't know. I just love chainswords, man. I think they're cool as hell. I would totally love to have one in real life. It'd have to be electrically powered though. There's no way you'd be able to make a gas powered one. Just it'd be too heavy, especially with carrying all that gas around.
Ready your auspices and begin your search.
Sorry for coughing so much, by the way, guys. I'm gonna grab some drink after we get to a slow point.
That will be sufficient. Upload to the servo scowl if you be so good. Additional data required. Searching for new targets.
No more beauty!
Violets, it has reached my attention that you are not retrieving additional data from this scan zone. Might one ask why?
Yeah, I will say, I think Fat Shark definitely took a bit too long of a vacation, because one of the things that people have been criticizing about, ironically, is the cash shop, and they have not, see, they made it a point to have a new thing in the cash shop every week, but at best they've been doing bi-weekly, and the thing that they have in the cash shop right now has been in there for a month.
She still sounds pretty human.
So they have been so
That's the door open!
under on work, they haven't even been able to stay up on the cash shop.
Listen. Demon host close by.
That's a demon host, you gotta be careful of those.
Demon host. Too close.
Get some healing.
God, dude, I hope somebody doesn't set that thing off.
Hold your ground, my king!
Dude, I'm fucking running, dude. I'm running.
Creatures slain, my kindred! Catch you, Rotar!
Taking a shot.
You're hitting armor, my king! Flummoxes, eat me!
Rip.
I'll kill you!
I'll remember.
Yeah, the position that thing was in was BS. Alright, well, I guess I get some drink. Yeah, no, that guy's just coping and seething. There's no way you could have walked past that thing without setting it off. At least, not too much. Yep, that guy is just coping and seething.
Heretics are pushing in.
I don't expect much of you, but this contract needs doing.
Well, anyways, I think that should be enough for one video. At least, you know, enough for my review. I guess that's enough gameplay. As y'all can see, the gameplay is really good. It's a good mix between gunplay and melee. But it's still got a large emphasis on melee, though. But it's a bit hard to tell exactly what the mixture is, because it just depends on what class you play. So here's my biggest criticism: is this right here. This is how you get weapons in the game. You can only get weapons and curios through this right here. That is it. That's not the chainsword that I like to use, by the way. That's like the one-handed one. That's the one that the That is a horrible blessing. That is not a blessing. This is borderline a curse. This is the only way you can get weapons right here. You see what I'm talking about? Like, you can't craft weapons yet, and that's why people are criticizing this game. Now, this cash shop, it is ridiculous that the cash shop works right off the bat. And keep in mind, this 2400 option is new. This was not here when the game first came out, and they supposedly added it because they quote-unquote forgot. But, as you see here, these have been here for almost a month now. They've been here, I think, since New Year's.
And if you're not,
Because they were the third thing that was added. Let me go ahead and show you what crafting we do have. We don't have crafting, but you can make your weapons better. But see, my thing is, there's no reason to do this if you don't have perfect weapons. Which I guess is the ultimate red pill to kind of swallow here. There's no reason to upgrade your weapons. There's no reason using your plasteel or diamantium until you're level 30 and you get a weapon that's got like 360 rating, like base stats, not even including these. So yeah, those are the only criticisms I have of the game. The game, is it worth the $40? I think it is. But that depends on the player, really, because this game is more meant for people who are big fans of 40K than it is for people who are fans of horde-style games or things like that. It's still a great horde-style game, and if you like Darktide, if you like Vermintide 1 and 2, then you'll probably like Darktide a lot. You'll probably like Darktide a little bit more, maybe. But that depends too. If you don't care about ranged at all, then you probably want to just wind up sticking to Vermintide 2, because I mean, one, there's a lot more content too. There's more classes and all that, more maps. The whole shebang, pretty much. But if you're a 40K fan, then you'll likely buy anything 40K anyways, and as such, you'll probably enjoy this game. It's got great atmosphere. It's got great music. That's the reason I bought the Imperium Edition, was solely to get the soundtrack, and also so I wouldn't feel bad about, you know, getting the FLAC version off of Soulseek. But you also do get these cosmetics too, which I don't really care too much about, but they are a nice addition though. Otherwise though, if you don't care about that, just get the regular version. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting it unless you know what you're getting into. I wouldn't recommend getting this game right now though. I would probably wait unless you know that unless you know the issues of this game and you're fine with that. Then I'd say it's 100% worth the $40. It works great on Proton. As I said before, it works better on Proton than it does on Windows. I have not had any issues with the server, or server connection issues whatsoever, except for one time when it was a back-end issue, not a client-side issue. And that one client-side issue that you saw a second ago, like in the beginning within the video, those are the only times I've had issues with it so far. But anyways, otherwise it's rock solid. But anyways, if you liked this review, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. I'm not planning on just making this a one-time thing with this game. I do want to do a let's play with it. I have a buddy who plays, my buddy Drew. He has a YouTube channel too. I'll hook him up down in the description of our videos whenever we play. And hopefully he'll do the same. I don't know if he's going to record our videos at the same time and record mine. But I am planning on doing some collaborating with him. He doesn't necessarily know that yet, though. But, yeah, I do want to do some more of these Darktide videos. I want to do more 40k game videos in general, but I also do want to play more games on this channel. I've mostly been doing tutorials, and while I do want this to mostly be a Linux channel, I want it to be a Linux gaming channel. I want to showcase, Linux gaming as a whole, and the experience that you can expect to gain with it, and break the connotation that Linux gaming is some kind of buggy, slow mess, and that Windows gaming is superior, or, Windows gaming is the way to go. Windows gaming is starting to get on its way out, I can definitely say, because Proton is starting to make some real strides. We've got a corporation, a giant corporation, that is putting money towards making Linux the future of gaming, and that company is Valve. There's no other company that's doing that. All the other companies that are gaming related, the best that they're doing mostly is pretty much just anti-cheats that nobody cares about to begin with, and hardware, and that's pretty much it. That's all. And I'll tell you what, you can make hardware work for anything if you want to write a driver for it. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. That was my Darktide review. If you liked it, give me a like. Comment down the video. Share this video if you liked it. If you think anybody else would like it or is considering getting this game, or if they're a Linux user and they're considering getting this game. If they're a Windows user, these videos are for everybody. They're not just for Linux users. So share it. If you want to see more, subscribe, and I'll see y'all guys in the next one.